Hello, and welcome to episode 232 of the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach,
And I'm Jeff.
and we're a source for drunken Magic the Gathering arena content.
That's right, just a couple of regular guys drinking some irregular beers and talking about Magic the Gathering, in particular, the online client MTG Arena.
Oh, that's right, Jeff, and this week we have one of our favorite episodes. It is our pregame for the new set of Magic the Gathering Secrets of Strixhaven. We're going to talk about some of the new cards we're really excited about with our No Pass list, as well as get into our Pack Zero Pick 1 challenge. But first, each week we bring a beer. We drink it, we rate it on a scale from Bronze to Mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. So with that, Jeff, what is on tap this week?
All right, this week we have another double header. If you know us on the show, whenever we get these sort of pop can or soda can sized beers, we usually do two of them because we're used to the beer can sized beers.
It's true.
And so this time we've paired up two brews from the same brewery. They're quite different. But the first one is called Yo-Yo, and it's a smoothie sour with passion fruit, mango, marshmallow, and vanilla. Clocks in at a respectable 5%.
It's true. Also, fun note about this one, the label is upside down, making you really work for it. I don't know... I don't know if that's kind of if it's actually practical because of the marshmallow smoothie stuff going on, or it's just a joke because it's a yo-yo and they want.
I was going to ask if you think it's a joke because of the yo-yo or if it's a mistake.
It's definitely not a mistake because the entire beer run of it was like that, and I think they have multiple flavors of this type of thing. You know, a lot of breweries will do like, oh, that's our yo-yo, but then we also have our
Very
sour
common
smoothie.
With sours,
yeah, sours and I guess that's really the one. They just different fruits and
different
stuff.
fruit every time. Yeah.
And I'm pretty positive all of them were upside down.
So the first time was a mistake, and now they do it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. But yeah, Jeff, what is the other beer we're drinking this evening?
Well, to complement that, I have selected Daily Commute, which is a stout with coffee and hazelnut. And this one is a whopping 5.8%. Hits a little harder.
Yeah. So this evening we kind of have a battle of the desserty beers, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting.
Well, I saw the notes of vanilla in the yo-yo, and I was like, I could go with coffee and hazelnut flavors.
I wasn't necessarily thinking that they were going to be pairing together. I was thinking more they would fight each other and see who wins.
But I'm hoping the vanilla lingers, from the first one, and pick that up in the second.
That would be cool. That would be really sweet if that happened. All right, here we go. All right. Did not get the best sound, but... Okay.
Oh, no. Look at this.
Oh, boy.
It looks like orange juice.
It does look like orange juice. It's kind of just sludging out of the can here. There is something in this. Oh, boy. That is a smoothie right there. Oh, man. You got to chew this beer. I love it.
It's like orange juice.
It is so thick.
Oh, boy.
Is this the thickest beer we've ever drank on the podcast?
It might be, yeah.
Anyway, as always, we have some magic news. Secrets of Strixhaven pre-release is this weekend, so head out to your local game store, play some new cards. Always a blast, and like the best event of any. If you don't go to your LGS, this is the time you should go to your LGS. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's the only time I would. Occasional pre-release.
That's right, because you can make the time for these events. Also, Secrets of Strixhaven is on Arena on Tuesday, so if you can't make it out this weekend, you can play. I think it's like 12 p.m., like noon Eastern time. It comes out, so you can start jamming all your drafts and playing with all the sweet cards. Though I did get to play with some of these cards yesterday in the streamer event, so I have a little bit of first-hand knowledge. If you were lucky enough to watch my stream, or maybe unlucky enough, because it was pretty brutal. Maybe I'll get into it a little bit later, but I'm rusty, buddy. Maybe just rusty like streaming and stuff, but like we had some rough drafts.
Eh, happens.
Yeah, it happens. But talking about drafts, Jeff, have you heard about this new draft event that's going to be happening in May for Arena? It's high stakes competitive draft.
I sure have. It's contender draft. As far as I could tell, it's twice as expensive as regular draft.
Yes.
And then there's a similar payout in the sense that you have to get 5 wins to get your gems back.
Yes.
Otherwise, you have to be... And 4 is like, you're most of the way there, and you get some nice packs for your trouble. And then 6 and 7, you're pretty happy. So it's kind of just like a doubled up version of what we're used to.
Yeah, you just get nothing for 1 through 2.
Right. In order to, like, it's
0, 1,
more
2.
sloped towards higher
Winners.
wins. So just to quickly go over it, it's twice expensive, like I said, 3,000 gems or 20,000 gold. It's the same style of 7 wins or 3 losses. But then the prizing, as Zach just mentioned, starts at 3, where you get 1,400 gems in 3 packs. Then it goes to 2,800 in 6 packs, 3,200 in 8 packs, 4,200, 10 packs, and 4 mythic packs. And then if you get all the way to the end, you get 7,200 gems, which is almost 2.5 times your entry fee, 12 packs, and 10 mythic packs. But most importantly, Zach, what else do you get for 7 wins?
Oh, you win something real special. You get the title of draft contender. So when you like join, like underneath your name, mine says like regular Zach, and right now it says like Mind Sculptor, but it would be draft contender.
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
I wish it was a little more epic, because draft contender, I don't know, it almost seems like a participator.
It does. It feels like the blue ribbon for participation.
Right? It's like the title they gave the guy that, everybody likes him, he showed up, but he's not very good.
But, like, it's also hard because it's like, it can't be so specific and, like, victorious because feasibly a lot of people are going to get it.
Yeah.
So this kind of reminds me, not in, like, the same way as the decathlon thing, which is how I got the Mind Sculptor one. But it is fun to have those special, like, title things. But I think ultimately getting 7,200 gems is, like, crazy. Like, that feels... Like, even when you win normally... So if you play a regular draft, it's 1,500 gems to join, and you win 2,200 gems if you get 7 wins and, like, 6 packs. But this feels like you get a ton of gems, which is great. But if
winning
you
almost 2.5 more drafts, plus like all the extra, if you care at all about the packs and the wild cards and stuff.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
And for those of you who don't really know, the mythic packs are like they're basically like regular packs, but they guarantee that you're going to get a mythic as like your rare. So it helps you if you're trying to like rare complete sets. Because to fully complete a set. Because if you rare complete it, a lot of times when you open up packs, it's just like 200 gems or whatever. And so this would actually give you the cards that you needed.
I already have my collector title. That's what I run with. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This is kind of... It's interesting. I think you could probably figure out like how good you have to be for this to be a better option for you
than regular draft.
One. But the problem is win rate in regular draft I don't think is going to be your win rate in these. No. So you could do the math on like, I need a 65% win rate to prefer this over the other one. But so do all the other people that are playing in this. And so you're no longer probably looking at a 65% win rate when you jump into this.
Mm-hmm. So
it just feels brutal to like... I mean, to be fair, I'm just like... I'm musing right now. I'm spitballing.
Yeah. Okay.
When I go 1-2 or 1-3 now, I don't really care that I got some of that back. Now, like in the long run, of course, it's it happens a few times, and you're like, okay, I'm not empty now. Whereas, maybe this you would be if you were getting straight nothing. But like, I'm still pretty disappointed and not be like, "Ooh, yeah, I got my 400 gems or whatever the hell."
It's true. Like if I go 0, 1, or 2 wins, I consider it a failure. Like if you go 3 wins, you're like, okay, that wasn't great, but at least I got like I didn't come out even on gems, but I came out even on wins, so like I don't hate it. And obviously 5 is where I care the most about that.
And 4 is like a wash, That's fine.
4 is basically a wash, yeah.
Yeah.
So at least it keeps that structure, because sometimes these events, like, if we compare this to like the Arena Direct events, where like the prize that you win is so much better. I'm just gonna say it, like, in-game currency is great. The title is fine. We're kind of selling it earlier, but I'm not that excited to get a title. I don't like.
Yeah, I don't.
It doesn't matter that much
about the title.
Yeah, but the like extra packs are cool, but the gems seem great, and putting an extra bit of weight on that would be cool, especially because this event is running for a limited time, from May 22nd to the 28th. So it's like 1 week, end of May. The set's been out for a while, and you can kind of show off your skills. But the main reason it is kind of exciting or interesting, besides like if I want to have competitive limited, like really feed me, the Arena Directs seem way more enticing. They just are very brutal when you like only having like 2.
Oh my god, those are deadly.
Like, yeah, you have like 1 loss to give before you're out is brutal.
And if you get like you spend so much money or so many gems to enter, and if you get nothing, it's like whoa. That's rough.
Yeah, because like those are like at least twice as expensive as this, right?
Yeah.
I think the cheapest one is usually about 6,000 gems. So this feels a little bit better. This is also a draft, and all the other ones are sealed. So I think that's one of the biggest things.
I think that's what this is meant to be doing.
Yeah. It's like all of our competitive limited events are always sealed, and it's like you can only play sealed, you have to play sealed. And that's just kind of a bummer. So this is a way, I think, of them testing out whether people are very interested in doing competitive draft events.
Because they tried that one for Lorwyn, right? Where it was like you have to do 2 drafts, and if you 7-0 both of them...
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
For something?
Yeah. Oh, no, but they're still doing that. That was for the Arena Championship. Or not the Arena Championship. That's for the Limited Championship Pro Tour thing.
Yeah, and I think they're exploring the appetite for competitive draft events on Arena.
Yeah. So it might be the type of thing where it's like they can, if this goes really well, they might run them not in tandem, but every other weekend, like they're going to do with the Arena Directs in May. It's like, you have 1 weekend off in between each of them, and they might just become a thing where it's like we have high stakes limited events on Arena every single weekend, if they can get the interest. And this wouldn't cost them anything, right? They're just giving away free stuff in client as opposed to boxes in the Arena Direct event, where they actually have the logistics of getting all the people. You have to pay somebody to like box those up and send them out, plus the product itself and all that stuff.
The cost is like coming out of potential revenue rather than being something they have to pony up.
Exactly. So yeah, I think originally when I read this, I was pretty down on it, but now that we've talked a little bit about it, I'm kind of coming around
kind of
to it a little bit more.
Me. I'll probably play at least one.
I'll probably play at least one. So this is just the first time we were seeing this because the events calendar came out for the set, which, by the way, still, events calendar, amazing. I love it. This is so nice.
I'd almost be more into this if it was like right now. Never drafted the set before. Double or nothing. Let's do it.
I mean, like, it feels more predatory that way, but I would also enjoy it a bit because it would be kind of fun to just try to snipe it.
Right.
And get a bunch of gems and kind of like, if I can like snipe this draft, it'll fuel me for the rest of the set almost. Like you can, I can roll that into a couple more drafts and then I can keep going.
It's the dream, right? And it like turbocharges your collection building for the set and all that. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, okay, I don't know. I think I'm coming around on this a little bit. After we had this little discussion, because the points of like where you win and what you win from it feel exactly the same as draft to me, but the
Yeah.
prize for getting 7 wins is so much bigger. Because sometimes you get 7 wins and you're like, hell yeah, I got the trophy, and then you're like, oh, but it's okay. I guess I'm just gonna draft again, which is great. I love drafting, but it would be nice if there's something a little special. So this, okay, I've completely changed my mind on this.
This is the best thing they've ever done.
I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing.
And I
But
want
anyway.
that title.
Yeah. So that's May 22nd to the 28th. We will remind you as we get closer. But all right, I like it when they try new things. So should be cool. But anyway, Jeff, we got some stuff to talk about this week. New cards we think are going to be great and limited. Cards we want for standard decks. Well, I guess what I should really say is, what's the acquisition period? What's the no pass list?
Great question, Zach. I thought you'd never ask. So, when a new set drops, for those of us who like to play both limited and constructed, there's a bit of tension. I'm drafting a new set. And I see a card that I'm interested in constructed. Do I take it, thereby weakening the power of my limited deck, but getting me a card I want to play in constructed? Or do I do the principled thing and take the card that's better for my draft deck? And this is an age-old question where people have various opinions on it, but we feel strongly that if you think you're going to play that card for real, or you are, you should take the card for your constructed pool. Because that's one wild card you didn't have to spend, and wild cards are one of the most valuable resources in Magic if you're a constructed player. If you only play limited, don't worry about it.
Skip this part of the episode.
Yeah. But for those of us that play both, we've all been through that struggle. Of, do I want this card badly enough? Sometimes it's an easy one. Sometimes it's a tough one. But sometimes there's that card that's like, I kind of want it, but I don't know, am I really going to play this? And so what we like to do is sit down ahead of time and just make a list. These are the cards that I'm most excited about to actually play. It's not necessarily mean they're the best. In fact, a lot of the time I use this no pass list as like, I want to pick up cards I don't really want to spend wild cards on, but I want to try. So they're not always the best cards. They're just cards you would play. And if you had them. And so then it's worth a wild card to you. And then you don't have to think about it when you have 45 seconds on the clock. The timer's winding down. You're like, do I just take the murder or do I take this other card? And so, especially with a new set and you're reading all the cards anyways. So we highly recommend you choose, I don't know, like 5 to 10 cards ahead of time. You call it your no pass list, and you've made a pact with yourself that if that card shows up in draft, you just take it and you don't worry about it.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm just gonna say 1 to 5. Don't have 10.
I said
don't have
10 because of the lands.
Okay, sure.
That's
All
5.
right. Okay. All right. I understand. Which we'll get into for a second. But the one other thing I wanted to say is that there are certain cards that might be on your craft immediately list. That's like, this is what my wild cards are for. These are not necessarily those cards. They can overlap. But we'll talk about more of those cards next week. Jeff. Well, you already talked about the lands. We've talked about it in previous episodes. We talk about it every single time we do a pregame. What are we looking at with this set?
Okay, I was going to say one of the only times I think these weren't. I think they made it anyways, but I wasn't sure about them actually being on my no pass list was last time we came to Strixhaven. But this time we have the slow lands. These are solid. We've had them before, so we know what we're expecting out of these here. And these are good enough that I think they should be part of your collection if you have any interest in playing Standard, but even just a part of a collection for some older formats too. These still see play there. And so if you don't already have these, I recommend picking these up when you see them in draft.
Reminder that the slow lands are the ones that come into play untapped if you have 2 or more lands.
Yes.
Or this is your 3rd land, or however it's worded.
Yeah.
But we had them at Innistrad originally, Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow, and so now we're getting all the enemy ones.
Yeah.
For this one.
You might not. Anyways, it's always interesting to see the ones because I think these are pretty good in draft.
Yes.
Like they're quite close to just being an untapped tool because a lot of the time you're not doing anything on turn 1 anyways. Mm-hmm. And so that it's really just turn 2 where these can get sketchy if you only have 2 lands in your hand. But it'd have to be like 2 of these. I don't know how it's you need a 1-drop and a 2-drop. It's tough to imagine a hand where this really gets you.
Gets you, yeah. And ruins your day. But they're awesome. Yeah. And yeah. I would take them highly, especially like the teamer ones. So
yeah, and these ones are so specific that you're going to be playing these colors, and so
yeah, exactly.
These ones are quite strong, so you might not see them whip around the table. Whereas sometimes like the rare duels are great constructed cards, but not good limited cards, and so they kind of fly around a little bit.
These ones not so much.
Happen. Yeah.
However, because we have 3-year standard and the mana bases are so fleshed out and shocks are part of the mana bases already, and there's a bunch of cool stuff going on, you might not need a full playset of the slow lands.
True.
So you do have the opportunity of like, okay, I'll pick 2, so I have 2 of each or maybe 3 of each, and then I don't need the 4th one when you get into later into drafts. So yeah, just food for thought, things to think about. Jeff, I'm going to start with cards I want to talk about.
Sure.
A card that I want for standard, which would also be good in draft as well, and this is part of a great cycle that like you're probably just going to take any one of these that you see. It's a mythic, Emeritus of Conflict. So this is the red Emeritus. We've talked about the blue one already on the podcast, and I'm sure everyone is aware of these cards, but if you aren't, Emeritus of Conflict is 1 in red for a 2/2 creature human wizard at mythic. It has first strike, and it says whenever you cast your 3rd spell each turn, this creature becomes prepared. And then when it's prepared, it can cast the spell portion of the thing, and it loses its preparedness. And it casts Lightning Bolt. So for a single red, at instant speed, you can deal 3 damage to any target. So this is one of those cards that, like, in limited is going to be pretty hard to trigger. Casting 2 spells in a turn is non-trivial, but, like, you know, there are decks that were built completely around it. But casting 3 is kind of hard. Especially with some of the other things you're doing. So this might not necessarily be the bomb limited card, but in the standard or constructed formats, this seems a lot more exciting. If you're playing some sort of burn deck, you get to do this. It's also nice that it says your 3rd spell, so it doesn't care if it's instant or sorcery. You don't have to specifically do a Spellslinger deck. You can just play this and something else, and it's and then I guess you 2 more things, but then you can prepare it on the turn that it comes down. But if you have a bunch of spells that only cost 1 mana, this would be able to get prepared. And then once it is prepared, if you cast the Lightning Bolt, that counts as 1 of your 3 spells. And so then you just have to cast 2 more things, and it's prepared again to load up for the next turn, to do it again and again. So I specifically kind of want to have this in like a burn deck or like a aggro deck, as opposed to you can play Izzet and just, you know, cycle your cards and do it that way. That seems a lot less exciting to me. I want it to be more aggressively slanted, especially because it's casting Lightning Bolt. So I'd like this to hit my opponent in the face and do it over and over and over again.
Removing blockers isn't the worst, you know, but
it's not.
Yeah, I like this card too. I like that idea of it almost is a cast 2 spell once you get it going. Like once you get 2 spells a turn, this is the 3rd, so it kind of keeps itself like
fueled,
relevant. I think you probably you want to be careful about actually casting this guy as your 3rd spell, because then I think he's like on the stack when he should be getting prepared or whatever, so it doesn't actually
Yeah,
work.
so you want him to be the first or second, and then your third
so
spell's
that's
out.
the kind of weird thing about this card that I remember thinking, like, oh, it's super weird that if I like do something and ritual into this guy, it doesn't work really. But
Yeah, so it's like, yeah. So if you have a draw spell looking for this card, you need to cast that first, and then you play him, and then you play something else.
right, there'd be some kind of interesting play patterns with this card to make sure
That might be
exactly that
unintuitive.
situation where you don't have it, but you might find it.
That is a good call. But anyway, this is definitely a 4 of in the deck that I want to play it in.
Yeah, I like this guy. I'm
He's
just
great.
thinking mono red beats, you know.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
get that free lightning bolt. Doesn't have haste, which is a real bummer, but be a little ridiculous if it did.
But yeah, anyway, Jeff, what's a card you got?
All right, so I do have the Planeswalkers on there. I think both are kind of interesting. They kind of fall into exactly what I was alluding to earlier of, I don't know if these are any good, but I do want to test them out, and I prefer not to actually spend any of my own wild cards on it.
Yeah.
So if I see them, I'll take them. Then again, you know, Planeswalkers have a history of being at least decent and limited, so it's not like making a huge sacrifice there.
You definitely aren't. If you had to pick one of them over the other, if you happen to have the crazy pack where they're both in it, which one are you picking?
I would take Ral. I like Ral Zarek.
Take Ral.
And he's cheaper. So
That's
there you
true.
go.
He is cheaper.
But I don't want to like talk too much about them because we talked about them in episode 230.
Yes.
So you could go back and listen to that one if you want our thoughts on those actual
Planeswalkers.
Planeswalkers. So I'll just jump to my next card, and it's a good one to follow up yours on because I can't believe you didn't pick this one. Emeritus of Truce. Hello. One white for a 3/3 cleric. When it enters, target player creates a 1/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. Then if an opponent controls more creatures than you, it becomes prepared, and its spell is Swords to Plowshares. So this is a neat little card. Like, if you want it, you could make it a 3/3 plus a 1/1 flyer. It might come into play prepared if you are like behind on board by enough. So that's kind of like the dream situation. You're a little behind, you play this, you get 2 bodies, and you plat swords their best thing. But I really like this with sort of flicker style effects. That's where I'm kind of thinking of it, is when all these creatures that enter and maybe prepare, these things go into these flicker decks, because that's very similar to like an ETB. It's just kind of a delayed ETB.
Yeah.
And so this one just has a lot of different shenanigans at work here. It could just be 2 bodies for you. It can be I think the way a lot of people might just read it is I downgrade their best thing to a 1/1 flyer kind of thing.
And let them gain some life.
Yeah, which is definitely a very reasonable mode that's going to happen a lot. But you can also just sort of push the advantage and have a 3/3 and a 1/1 that if you have ways to flicker, you're less miffed about giving up the Swords to Plowshares because you feel like maybe you can get it later. And you could also give your opponent a 1/1 and then swords that 1/1. You know, it's an option.
Yeah, I guess instead of
It's a
the other
weird
creature
play,
that they have.
but it's possible.
Um,
I don't
which
know why
is
you would ever do that. But
which is part of the reason why I didn't put this on my list. It was something that I was definitely thinking about originally.
Yeah.
Because it's the white one, obviously. I like Swords to Plowshares. But when I kept running through it in my mind of how I was going to play it and what I wanted to do in certain situations, I always came up with, but I want to have more creatures, like always. Like, I never want to be behind. And I don't see how a card that's like almost feels, maybe I'm underestimating a 1/1 flyer for myself. But it feels like it goes from either like a busted card to like a pretty good, like solid limited card. If you don't kill their if it doesn't come prepared, it feels like, oh, that was, there's an extra token, that's nice. But if I kill something, then it's like, oh, that's great. So I just
That's why I think you do need something around it, like these flicker effects to get another shot at picking up multiple Swords to Plowshares, or
For
picking up
sure.
at least one. Or obviously in like a sacrifice deck, you can kind of sack a bunch of stuff. Makes it way more likely you're going to have fewer creatures.
yeah.
And then it's 2 bodies for that deck as well. Plus, like, that's a lot of value in that kind of shell.
That makes a lot more sense to me. I think in an Orzhov sack deck, it feels more at home than like the white weenie deck I wanted to put it in.
Yeah. The white we need like go wide, flood the board deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think it's that. I think it's Flicker or Zov or
which
or
is why
Bounds,
I was not nearly as excited about it.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, oh, 6 Swords to Plowshares. And I was like, oh. And then I kept remembering. Well, I was just thinking about all the times that Swords to Plowshares ends up screwing me because they gain too much life and I can't kill them.
But here's the thing that maybe you didn't consider. If they have more creatures than you can cast this and Swords itself to gain 3 life.
And you have a 1/1 left over. Very interesting. No, that sounds horrible.
Cell.
Disgusting. That's like 3 of it is white.
Yeah. 1 white. Gain 3 life, make a 1/1. You don't like that? You don't like that card?
It actually gains more life because you do get to block and then Swords it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So
pretty good.
Pretty solid.
It's a mode that could come up. It could double block, like block 2 things and Swords myself. Mm-hmm. And you thought that, well, no, it's not going to really surprise them because it's all on the table.
Yeah.
I was going to say they maybe go in for a lethal attack and you get to take them down.
I was more so thinking that like you're going to gain the 3 life from killing the Emeritus with Swords and also gain whatever life from blocking the creature. So like hopefully you gain like 7.
I know, but I'm trying to find a situation where that's better than just exiling their thing that's attacking you. And the reason would be like you can attack back for lethal. And if you exile their thing, they'd gain a bunch of life. But once you make it clear that you can do that, they're not just going to let that happen.
It's true. Maybe they won't see the line though. They're like, oh, if I attack, they're forced to block with both creatures, and you're like, haha, I will Swords my own thing. You're at 1 life. I have a 1/1 flyer, and I will win on the crackback.
Exactly. They might miss it.
It'll be a very, very specific situation.
Yeah, they have to be at 1. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to survive with 1 block plus 3 life.
Exactly.
And
and have 3 white mana available
and
for
they
it.
have
Or
to miss
4.
it. Or just not have a flying blocker, I guess.
Yeah, or they attack with their flyer, thinking, oh, well, they have to block with the 1/1.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ifs in the situation, and I don't like it.
But it could happen.
It could happen. My next card is another one that we've talked about previously, but it fits into the deck that I was talking about before, which is cast lots of spells, hopefully instants and sorceries and creatures, which is Molten Core Maestro. 1 in red for a 2/2 creature goblin bard at rare with menace. As Opus, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, put a counter on it, +1/+1 counter. And if it's 5 or more mana was spent to cast the spell, you get a bunch of mana equal to this creature's power. Which in this deck we would not have anything that costs 5 or more. Unless there's an X spell that seems kind of interesting. Maybe that's possible. But primarily this is just another 2-drop where I can cast a bunch of spells. This will be a threat, and then I can keep doing my lightning bolt value stuff with my other creature that they will not be killing.
Usually creatures with this ability cost more than this. Like 2/2 menace with this ability for 2 is aggressively statted.
Yes. Once again, doesn't have haste. But I think they're trying to move away from the days of every red creature has haste because they realized, oh, the entire, like, the mono red deck, if the creature doesn't have haste, it can't be in the deck. It's
very limiting because there's only so much they can put haste on because haste is such a powerful keyword.
Yeah.
That then it ends up being like, nothing can penetrate the mono red deck because it has to have haste in order to be playable, basically. And it's kind of lame.
It's pretty lame. So I like this. I don't have high hopes that this deck is going to be better than the other things you can be doing, but it does seem like a fun thing to be doing, which I'm always interested in doing. So a deck that can burn them in the face, but also make a giant creature, having multiple combo things going on sounds kind of nice. Kind of like it. So Molten Core Maestro right on the list. Also some cards I'd like to play in limited, that also seems like a good thing. Doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah. All right, last one for me. I kept it to four cards plus lands. Obviously I want this card. And this card is Cauldron of Essence. This is an artifact that is 1 black-green. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. You gain 1 life. Yes, love that text. I almost don't care what it does after that, but I guess for 3 mana I'd better do something. And then it says 1 black-green, tap, sack a creature, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery. Huge. The only thing I don't love is that it's green, and we have flavors of sack decks that are black-red and black-white, and now this is trying to create a third variant in a different color combo because why not, I guess.
Why not?
Obviously, this is, if you've ever played sacrifice decks, traditionally the issue was getting good sort of blood artist effects. That's what we call the first line of text on this artifact. Something that pings your opponent every time sack a creature or when one dies. We actually recently have been given a ton of these, and so now we're sort of spoiled for choice. But traditionally, the problem was you usually had one good one, and then you were reaching into the depths of the junk bins to find something else. Yeah. Or just trying to make do with a single blood artist effect. Now we're a bit spoiled for choice, but they're always good to have, and having one on something that's not a creature is really nice. Because it's a little harder for your opponents to interact with it profitably. They just have to take the turn off to not kill a creature, and they have to have a removal spell for the artifact. Artifacts are still, not the most robust. They're still a little fragile. Lots of stuff kills it. And I don't like that it doesn't ping them when it dies because it doesn't say or artifact. But it's still, I think, a little anytime you play the Blood Artist card, it just immediately dies. People are like, "Oh hell no," and they kill it. And this one will hopefully have a little more staying power. But that point about the Blood Artist always dies is also why I actually like this card, because the second ability kicks off your shenanigans by going to get the Blood Artist they previously dealt with and bringing it back. And the way you need to kill in these decks is you need multiple of these effects, because then every creature you sack, which leaves a creature behind, which it's now when you're talking in increments of 2 rather than 1, it makes things a lot more possible. And so I just like the it's not the most powerful card on its face because it's 3 mana for a Blood Artist effect when we can get them for 2, and it's not it's an expensive activated ability. But that activated ability, I think, adds a lot of reliability. It just adds a lot more consistency to your deck, where you're just going to be in these double Blood Artist scenarios much more often. And those are where you want to be. Depends how much Exile's kicking around and stuff and whatever, but this deck always just folds to that kind of... it's like, oh, well, is it good when they have Rest in Peace? I'm like, the deck is awful when they have Rest in Peace. It does nothing.
Of course.
This deck cannot beat Rest in Peace.
But you are green now, at least. So you do have a way to kill enchantments.
That's true.
Which, when you're in the Rakdos version, you don't really have.
No, the Rakdos version literally cannot do anything about Rest in Peace.
You just scoop. And so at least with green, you get to go into
You try to
it and-
beat them with 1/1s. So, like, hopefully you kept a rest in peace hand with literally nothing else.
nothing,
going on.
because they were thinking, oh, if I play this, they concede. Yeah, I mean, I saw this card and immediately thought, oh, I think Jeff's going to really want this, and I'm excited to see you go back to your roots.
Yeah. I
Not
see
not
what you
to
did there.
yeah, not to make a sweatpants joke, but yeah, Cauldron of Essence, super exciting.
Actually,
It
wearing
was-
Roots sweatpants right now.
Oh, are you? Perfect. There you go. I almost put this on my list just because I know whenever you build that deck and you post it, I want to play it. So I want to have the cards for it.
Yeah. I wish it was a little more juiced. Like, maybe that ability could have cost just black-green, but
It could
maybe this is
also,
good enough.
obviously, it looks like an Aristocrats thing, but I wonder if there's a world where you can play the Aristocrats thing, or game one, you play a combo deck where you're playing like you're playing JED and some other stuff to get a big dude in the graveyard and reanimate it.
I
And
think
work
that's
that
what the
magic.
black-green version might end up looking like. Like, that's the reason to be black-green, is you have this sort of reanimator side plan, or maybe, like you're saying, maybe it's plan A in game one, and plan
And then
B.
you play the game of did I set it in, did I set it out kind of thing, and your mana is better than the only problem is, like, is it better than the Soul Tie Reanimator deck that is
Right.
able to do a bunch of
And,
other
like,
busted
both
stuff?
plans lose to a lot of the same sideboard cards.
Exactly. So this doesn't make you more robust than the other one.
Just keeps them on their toes a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit
I mean,
of
like-
that old school rogues thing, where it's like, am I going to kill you this way, or am I going to kill you this way?
Yeah, which I do like. So that dynamic seems pretty interesting, as opposed to the all-in. If you play Rest in Peace, I lose the game. This could also just be like, I guess I just play. I have big stuff in my sideboard, so I can just wait and play it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
If that's possible. But pretty cool card. I like it. And of course, immediately thought of you. My next card, and this is my last one. Kind of. Anyway, this is called Informed Inkwright, which is 1 and a white for a 2/2 creature human wizard at rare. It has vigilance, and it also has the ability that I kind of hate, but kind of love, repartee. It says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, create a 1/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. This feels very Zach card to me.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you play a 2-drop, you kill something, you make a 1/1. They try to kill this. Maybe I protect it. Maybe I flicker it. I make more 1/1s. And go wide that way. While also being a weird protect the queen kind of thing. I would love to have multiple of these in my deck. Whether this goes in my Boros Spellslinger deck, or it just goes in like a mono white type thing, or I'm not exactly sure. I'm kind of thinking all the cards I've talked about kind of go together. Where I could play protection spells to protect this card as well as the Maestro, get counters on different things. It's like, do you kill the big thing, or do you kill the thing that makes all the little ones? Am I going to pump stuff up, or am I just going to go for lethal with this one dude? Who knows? While I also am just lightning helixing and like lightning bolting your stuff and you. I like it. Seems kind of fun. So that's kind of the theme of all of my my no pass list this time around. They all kind of are going into the same deck that I'd like to play.
The only criticism I have is that you explicitly said that you want your lightning bolts to go face.
I did.
Is this like a consolation prize in the event that unfortunately you have to lightning bolt their creature?
Yes. Yes, this is, if I have to lightning bolt their creature to get things out of the way, then that will work.
At
But
least I get a
also,
1/1.
at least I get a 1/1. But it's also the type of thing that's like, maybe my other removal spells can kill creatures, and then I still get to lightning bolt their face.
It'd be pretty sick if repartee was just like, cast any spell.
It would be sick. Yes, you're right. You're right. It would be sick if that
I was going to say any spell that targets, and I was just like,
No.
just going to leave it at any spell.
Any spell.
That would be better. That's just my opinion. But
Yes, it's true. I do already know in the future that having both Repartee and Opus in the same deck will make me misplay. It will happen. So I'm excited for that.
I think for that deck, I would leave this out and then look at what spells I want to play. And then I would see how many of them trigger this. And then you play this.
And then play this.
Like, don't warp your spell base for this, but if...
Oh, but you know I want to.
I know you want to. That's why I'm saying this.
Okay. Jeff, that's not fun. You're telling me to take this off my no pass list, and I hate it.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what you just said to me. Don't lie to me,
I didn't
Jeff.
say those words.
All right, well, Jeff, let's go to my last. I do have an extra card, but it's a secret.
Surprise card.
Jeff doesn't know what it is.
I have no idea. I just see a green alliance, like...
Yeah,
Oh my god, if I highlight it, it's like...
Yeah, you can't even see. Yeah, I know. No. I knew that you would try to do something sneaky like that, so I hid it for sure. It's not really that important to hide it, but I know it's a card that you would also want to have, and... I'm breaking the no pass list thing. Okay, so this is not a card that I want in Constructed.
Oh.
But this is a card that I will not pass if I see it in Limited because I want to play this card.
Cool.
Very, very badly. And it's on the Mystical Archives sheet. So, of course, I'm talking about another white card. It's Armageddon.
Ooh, I love this.
Armageddon is on the Mystical Archive sheet. Of course, if you don't know this card, it's 3 and a white for a sorcery. Destroy all lands.
If you don't know this card, your playgroup is lame.
It's lame. Universally hated in Commander. I've played this card in Commander, but not. But I played it responsibly. Okay. For those of you out there who feel like mass land destruction is incorrect and something you can't do, I would like to say to you, you're wrong. You just have to play it correctly, and that is never out of spite. So what you want to do, and what I want to build, is I want to build a really aggressive Silver Quill deck. And all the decks that I'm trying to beat are those big rampy teamer decks that are just fixing their mana and making, like, ramping and making a bunch of stuff, trying to play a big X spell. I have a pretty nice board of 3 to 4 creatures, and then I slam Armageddon, destroying all the lands. All the cards that they played previously to ramp themselves, all those cards are gone. They start at square one. All those cards cost a bunch of mana. Mine don't cost basically any mana. And then I just get to attack them with the creatures that I had, and their board is terrible. That is what this card is for. It is for being aggressive and punishing decks that are trying to go over the top. And if you're in Commander, and this is a random tangent, but if you're in Commander and you have this card in your hand, and you're losing the game, and you don't have a board state, this will not help you win the game. This will help everybody hate you. So don't play it when it doesn't help you win the game. If you have your Voltron commander on the battlefield, who is indestructible and hexproof and all the stuff, and you're going to win if this creature is alive and nobody casts spells, and you cast Armageddon, I think that's acceptable. I think you can do that. It'll take you a couple turns to kill everybody, but they won't do anything in between their turns. You're just waiting for your combat step. So I think that's perfectly reasonable to play in Commander, and will end the game with combat damage, which... everybody likes. Everybody talks about how much they like ending the game with combat damage. So
yeah,
that's just my 2 cents right there. I'm just saying.
I'm with you, man. Land destruction gets a bad rap.
Such a bad rap. It's why white has to draw a bunch of cards now.
I love that pivot, and I'm so glad that you kept it a surprise, because that was awesome. Now I'm just like scrolling through Mystical Archive cards, being like, smallpox? I miss the days of smallpox.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of really
just
sweet
to clarify, stuff. I missed the days where smallpox was a magic card you could play. Do not miss the days when smallpox was running rampant across humanity.
Yes, that is a good distinction. Especially because after the beers that you brought that one time that specifically cared about colonialism, so...
yeah, I'm getting a bad rap over there.
Yeah, it's like, bro, trust me, smallpox, so
Pro-smallpox, I'm going to die on that hill.
You're gonna die, all right.
These arts are beautiful too.
Yeah, just do yourself a favor and go and look through all of the Mystical archives, including all the Japanese arts.
The Japanese ones, yeah.
So good. But they really hit it out of the park once again. I didn't think that they could do better than they did the first time. But man, these are solid. Like,
there's a lot of cards here too that I play all the time, and I'm like so on the art, so I just kind of pick whatever. And now I just have a version to get and like use.
Yeah, the saddest thing I think personally is that Monstrous Rage is in this, and I can't play this art anywhere.
Yeah,
it's horrendous.
That's so nice too.
It's so cool. It's like this dude that's like turning into a wolf, and it's like showing his skull changing and stuff. But it's all symmetrical, and it's really cool. All of these are so sick. So do yourself a favor and check them out. All right, Jeff. Let's go to one of our favorite parts of the podcast, of the whole set season.
Starting to like it less and less.
All right, well, I'm starting to like it more and more. Our Pack Zero Pick One challenge. Jeff, can you explain what Magic Data Science has brought to us from Twitter and Blue Sky?
Yes, so the Pack Zero Pick One challenge is a challenge where, before playing with any of the cards, you try to pick what is the best common of each color. This is like kind of got born in the world of set reviews. This became a thing in set reviews where professional Magic players or content creators would basically take this upon themselves and say, okay, I've reviewed every card in the set. Here's what I think the best white common is. Here's the best blue, etc. And so, really, they just kind of gamified this as like, hey, give this a try for yourself if you think it's so easy. Spoiler, it's not.
Super hard.
But you pick the best green common of each color. Best green common of each color. You pick the best common of each color. It does not have to be green. And then you choose...
One of them has to be
yeah, and then you choose 2 miscellaneous cards. That's just like a little bit of padding for yourself, because often you'll be between 2 cards in a certain color. You get to choose both. But, we try to choose the one we actually think is best for the color. And then the one that's a bit of a... weird one this time is the gold signpost uncommon. Normally there's 2 of these for each color pair in the set. This time there's 5?
7?
7? 7. If you count the commons, right?
No, there's just
7 uncommon ones. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's a ton this time. So I think we weren't able to get clarification on the rules for this, so I guess everything's game.
Everything is game. So this is not a game that we invented. We just want to say that up front. Magic Data Science, that's on Twitter and Blue Sky, has a WordPress. And they always post the breakdown, and they get to talk about the things. However, I was not able to find their one for this, and I'm not sure if they're doing it, because I didn't see one for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So... we're going to continue playing this game, and we've decided that picking one of the bunches and bunches of gold signposts and commons is totally respectable, but boy, there are a lot of choices now to read through.
Yeah.
Much more difficult. This is a tough one.
And just to finish out my explanation... At the end of the season, after all the draft has been played, we go to 17lands.com, we check the win rate, the game in hand win rate for each card that both of us have selected. We add up all those numbers, and whoever's number is higher is the winner.
That's true. Which so far this year, it's been me. Whoa, wow.
It's comeback time, baby.
He's so good.
Although I made some sketchy picks this time, so this might not be my set either.
All right, I'm pretty excited. I love it when you make sketchy picks. It makes me feel so much better.
I don't know why I keep doing it.
It's awesome. Jeff, I do want to say, before we get into this, I have finished my orange juice beer, which was not orange juice, it was passion fruit. Yeah. Are you ready for the stout? I already tried to clean up my glass a little bit. Since the smoothie residue has tainted the glass and is now kind of going to not ruin this stout, but it will definitely make this stout taste more like the last beer. All right, Jeff. Daily commute. You may... this reminded me of you in a way, even though you don't commute anymore, but you used to commute more.
Yeah, it was never daily, though, for me. I think I was up to 3 times a week, and then I was like, that's enough.
That sounds daily enough to me.
Yeah.
Because technically,
Semi-daily.
this person is also not commuting daily, right? They're commuting 5 days a week. So
Yeah. Well, you don't know them. Maybe they're
That's
a hard
true.
worker.
Maybe this guy just lives on the train and he just has a newspaper that he reads over and over again.
Could be.
Could be. We just don't know. So this is the stout with coffee and hazelnut. So let's crack this open, see if it's better than the last one that we just had. Oh, yeah. Man, I love having 2 beers. It's great. It kind of reminds me of Friends when Joey always talks about Fridays, or you always have 2 pizzas on Friday.
Right.
Just like doing the podcast with 2 beers. Oh, it's so nice.
It's the right way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, we have decided that that's not the way we normally do it anymore, but I have been enjoying having some of these smaller ones. You spill a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The open was a little aggressive.
Yeah, but I've been really aggressive with these opens. But anyway, cheers. Delicious. All right, Jeff. I went first with the other one, so I will give you the honor if you'd like to go first with the Pack Zero Pick 1.
Sure. Starting with white, are we? Mm-hmm. All right. I wasn't sure about my pick for white, but I'm just going to go with it. The card that spoke to me when I was reading these collection of commons was Eager Glyph Mage. So that's just what I'm going to go with. Eager Glyph Mage. Let me type it and then I will read it.
Wow. Oh,
Glyph Mahe. Eager Glyph Mage is 3 and a white for a cat cleric. It's a 3/3. When it enters, create a 1/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. I've seen these cards be good in the past. 4 is like more mana than I want the cards that I pick in this game to cost, basically. But 4 mana for 4/4 worth of stats is fine, and when one of them, it's across 2 bodies, is always upside, and one of them flies is nice. I think these are pretty good tokens as far as tokens go. And so this just seems like a super solid common, combined with nothing else really wowed me in white. I don't think there was an obvious, like,
this is the one.
pacifism type effect or O-ring type effect that you can often default to. And
Yeah.
so...
I just, like, with you saying that, white was pretty tricky because there is 1 removal spell.
Yeah,
Usually we get 2 or 3.
right.
And we have 1. And it's the, like, expensive one. Well, it's the flexible 5 mana one that costs less if something happens.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised to see that. Like, they really have a script where they're like 2 mana pacifism, O-ring effect, and the 5 mana whatever.
And this one, yeah.
Yeah. And this is like, actually, this is the only one. So, that surprised me quite a bit. Not so much that I was like, you know what, I have to take a Johnny's Response, which is that removal spell. Which I guess we're talking about it so much, I just want to read it. It's 4 and a white for an instant. This spell costs 3 less to cast if it targets a tapped creature, and it says destroy target creature. So only 2 mana if your opponent's creature's tapped.
I wonder if it's just because white pairs with the 2 most removal heavy colors.
That actually makes a lot of sense because it pairs with black, which has 2, and red that has 3. So
Yeah, so it's like it doesn't necessarily need its own, whereas in most sets you want the idea that white can pair with anything. So
that's true. That's a good call. That's really interesting that they would have thought of that and done that. And been like, well, we're not going to take any removal spells away from black or red.
right.
So let's take it away from white and see what other cool things we can add to it. Which the card I picked as the one that I think will be best for white is Elite Interceptor. It's a 1-drop, so it's a single white for
Would
a 1/2.
pick a 1-drop.
It's a single white for a 1/2 creature human wizard. It says this creature enters prepared, and its prepared spell is called Rejoinder, which is 1 and a white for a sorcery. You may tap or untap target creature, and you draw a card. Really cool creature. It feels like Thraben Inspector. Yeah. Thraben Inspector? I'm saying the right card, right?
Yes.
It enters, makes a clue, you sack the clue, you draw a card. This has a similar feeling where it's like the same body, it comes down, you can tap something and draw a card off of it. Or attack in with something, untap your attacker to have a good block. But most of the time you're probably tapping their stuff so you can get good attacks. And if you happen to flicker it, it works similarly where you can then use the ability again and do all those prepared shenanigans. I think this could be good. This is a card that I feel like it could possibly get there, but I think what you want to do is probably play it, hold the spell until later, and then play the spell at a really key point in time so that your opponent is always worried about attacking with one too many creatures. Being like, okay, well, I always have a creature that could be tapped down. So, like, my good blocker is going to be tapped. So then either I attack with all my stuff or I don't attack with anything, actually. Which might play some mind games. Obviously, it triggers repartee. It triggers anything with Opus or any of that stuff.
Right.
So, I think having that little bit of not only card advantage in the sense that you're drawing a card with the spell, but also that you have a creature that has a literal spell to cast. Because the prepared spells are like in exile, technically. So then you cast them from exile and you get the ability. So I like the stuff that's going on here, but it is a little bit on the weak side. Like, you need other stuff going on for this to be actually good. And the body blocks pests. But besides that, it could be a bit of a throwaway unless you have some counters you can throw on it or something.
Yeah, I was looking at it too. I think I made almost like a safer choice because I'm like, I don't think Glyphade's going to be the best, but I think it's going to be fine, and I don't know what's going to be the best. And you were like going for
I'm definitely taking a shot.
One that could be the best.
I'm shooting for the best.
You mentioned Thraben Inspector. It's almost like a very finicky Thraben Inspector, right? Because one of the things about Thraben Inspector is like you get the thing for sure.
Yes.
This is like, if this dies, you don't get.
It's true.
You don't leave around the cardboard the option to draw a card.
But if somebody uses a card to kill this, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, but it's almost like I can't get into combat with this because I don't want it to do. Like, I found these prepared cards are so interesting because I'm like, I almost like don't want to do anything with this, and I don't want to use the creature side until I get my value from like the spell side.
The spell side. That's true. That is true.
So it's a little interesting, and I just wasn't sure where they're gonna land. I get that they're good because like it's just card advantage on a creature. That's good, but there's another card I want to talk about later that makes me feel way more that way. That I was like excited about the card for a second, then I thought about play patterns, and I'm like, oh, like is this gonna play how I want it to? So anyways, I just didn't know. This card, like you said, it's a little weak on its own. You need, even Thraben Inspector, you need reasons to care about that artifact that you have. Like, you need other stuff. This, you're going to need other stuff, but I think it's there, right? Like, that sorcery is just enough, because if you have ways to trigger, like, spells matter theme, which is a big theme in this set. then it's very Thraben Inspectory, where it's like it's a 1-drop that does this other thing that triggers your other cards or whatever, or powers your other cards. Yeah, could be this one.
Could be this one. We're gonna snake this, so I'm up again with my blue card, which was also pretty interesting.
Blue was interesting. I think there are a lot of reasonable choices here.
Yeah, there's a couple different things. I want to get into more about the choices after you tell me your card, because I don't want to spoil anything.
Sure.
But I did end up going with a card that I've wanted to or tried to pick in the past that hasn't performed well. So I'm taking another shot.
We might have picked the same card.
So I picked a creature.
Oh, then we didn't pick the same card.
Okay. I picked Deluge Virtuoso, which is
I thought
2 and a
about picking
blue.
that card.
It's pretty cool. 2 and a blue for a 2/2 creature human wizard, and it says when this creature enters, tap target creature and opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. So this is the Frost Links text. 3-mana 2/2 stun thing. It also has Opus, and it says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and if 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, this creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn instead. I've been waiting to see where the bar is. Like, how much extra text do you need for Frostlinks to be good? And this could be it, where you actually need the body to be bigger. Because this is like, you know, it has a very nice ETB, a good tempo play. But then the following turn, when you want to attack and their creature's still tapped, you can pump this up by just casting other spells or things to remove their stuff or whatever, and then get in for some damage or make it so their blocks are really bad. And if you can get multiple of these, like, that ends up being really scary. So I don't know. This almost looked like an uncommon a little bit. Like, I keep looking at it being like, is this just a common? I can't even tell. Obviously, them giving me this makes me feel like it might be bad, because they're really trying to juice. Okay, there was a very similar card like this in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was an artifact, which helped for artifact things, but that was the only thing that changed. There was another card like this in Avatar: The Last Airbender, like the Snowballers. I also thought that card was really good. Ended up being not that good at all. So they do try this card often, but I like this version, and I hope that I don't look like an idiot for picking this. But
no, this jumped off the page a bit for me too. It's definitely pushed, but I have this bias that I'm trying to fight. Where, like, I remember the time in Core Set Limited when Frostlinks was a premium blue common, and it was like that's what you're hoping for in a lot of decks. Yeah, baby, we got the Frostlinks. That's just not true anymore, so I have to, like, adjust to
fight against it.
And it's exactly your question. How much extra text needs to go on Frostlinks in order for it to be good? This is a lot. There's a lot of extra text. But is it enough? And why is it a common is the suspicious part.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I could see it. I liked this card a lot, but I shied away from it because I was like, that's just me liking Frostlinks a little more than I should.
I love Frostlinks. It's so hard. So, Jeff, what card did you pick?
Okay, I picked this card. I know. I said I made some sketchy picks. Maybe I made all safe picks. This is another kind of safe pick for me because this is not a new card. I picked Essence Scatter.
This is one of the more interesting cards, I gotta say.
Yeah. I think Essence Scatter is like, because this set is all about spells matters for a lot of the themes, it's not going to counter some of the spells, but a lot of the time those spells aren't necessarily that good. You're just casting them to trigger your spells matter stuff on your creatures, which are good. And so I was kind of like back and forth, like, is Essence Scatter good? Is it not good? And then I was just like, you know what? Essence Scatter is just a good limited card. Like,
it is a good limited card.
And it triggers your own spells matter stuff.
That's true on your opponent's turn.
If that matters. I don't know. So maybe
which might be one of the reasons why I maybe I don't want to counter spell because I want to be able to be more proactive and have my stuff trigger on my turn. But I think I love the fact that they put Essence Scatter in this. Like,
Yeah, it's a
two
very
mana,
cool set for Essence Scatter.
2 mana counter a creature, which normally is like a de facto. Like, if this was any other set that wasn't Spells Matter, I'd be like, hands down, it's Essence Scatter. That's the card, because you want to counter creatures. That's what you want to do in limited. And negate.
I still think that's what you want to do, though. Yeah, negate is unplayable.
Yes. But in this set, I don't know. Like, it is true we have like a lot of the bombs in the set are still kind of creatures though, that have the prepared mechanic, like the whole Emeritus cycle. It's not like we have a bunch of like opuses or like we don't have Magma Opus, or we don't have giant what are they called, the a million different mana pips from Tarkir, like that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're trying to counter something like that. That's like, that's the card that's going to win them the game. So maybe you're right. Maybe Essence Scatter is the thing. I don't know.
I'm kind of into it. And the other thing that kind of tipped the scales for me is I love this art. And this is my new go-to version of Essence Scatter if I'm ever playing it.
Absolutely the best art. And I will have to say, when I was playing in the streamer event, multiple times I had to stop and look at a piece of art, and I was like, holy crap, this is so nice. And every single time it was Elliot Lang. And I looked it up. Elliot Lang only has 4 cards that he's ever made, or they've ever made, and they're in this set.
Okay,
so I kept
new Magic artists. I'm going to keep an eye out, because while I was doing this exercise, there were a few where I was like, whoa, that's beautiful. But I didn't necessarily notice that it was always the same artist. So I'm going to check if that happened to me as well.
It happened there were 3 different times. I was like, dang, this is so good. And it was just like this artist. So I love the Essence Scatter pick. There's some also other really interesting ones, but
Blue had a lot going on. I read a few cards. I was like, oh, it's got to be that, right? And I was like, oh, Essence Scatter's in this set. But is it good in this set? I don't know.
It's so hard. But anyway, Jeff, what's your black card?
Yeah, my black card. I think for me, the question was like a common black question. What is going to be the most important thing to kill? And so I landed on Last Gasp for my choice for black.
I did too.
I think in a set that cares so much about instants and sorceries and stuff that targets, it felt crazy to me to not choose one of the instant speed removal spells. So Last Gasp or Wander Off. And I think Wander Off is just expensive, It's very unconditional, but it's expensive.
It's true. So Last Gasp. Whoa, my gosh. Last Gasp. I keep wanting to say Last Grasp, but that's definitely not what it is. It's 1 and a black for an instant. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. And then, of course, the other one, Wander Off, is 3 and a black, so 4 mana. Instant speed, exile target creature.
Wander Off is... Oh, yeah. There it is. Elliot Lang. Wander Off is nice. As soon as I saw that one, I'm like, well, that one's nice too.
Yep, and it's Elliot Lang once again. So, lucky to have Elliot Lang's art on commons, because you get to look at him all the time.
Right.
But I do it I know it sounds boring, and when you're listening to the podcast and thinking, oh yeah, well, the best black common is either a removal spell or another removal spell. It is true. We don't want to be... I don't want to lie to you and say that the removal spells aren't the cards you're supposed to pick. But sometimes...
They're always in the top 3. At least
they're always in the top 3. But sometimes you really, really want one of them over the other. And it usually boils down to, if the format is really... if you're a deck that's trying to be bigger... and the format can be very aggressive, you need the cheap one to stay alive. And if you're the aggressive deck and you need to be able to kill the bigger creatures, you want the bigger one. And so it depends on which ones are running rampant. Is the format going to be all about teamer spells again, and they have a bunch of giant creatures, or recursive threats that you need to exile? Wander Off will be better. But if you need things that will trigger all your stuff and your repartee things, you're the aggro Silver Quill deck. You need to either shrink their thing or kill it. Last Gasp is what you need, which is what we both picked, obviously.
And if you scroll through these commons, like Last Gasp kills all of them.
Yeah, it kills a ton of stuff. So like Wander Off is really just there for, well, I just didn't get the Last Gasp, or I'm going to have to hold on to this until there's a giant, I don't know, fractal or something.
Get rid of a bomb or whatever.
So, anyway, pretty, felt pretty easy to me to pick that one. And it doesn't feel exciting, but I'm not going to just leave it on the table.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
What you picked for red.
Yeah, so red was pretty interesting. We had mentioned already there are 3 removal spells, but and you kind of have your choice of like the 3. I mean, you don't have to obviously pick the removal spell, but you tend to want to. 2 of them are instant speed. Both of the bigger ones are instant speed, and then the sorcery speed one is the cheapest one. And that's the one that I picked. So I picked Tome Blast.
I'm a Tome Blast guy, man. I didn't know if you were gonna pick it either, but I had a feeling you might. But when I read Tome Blast, I was like, hell yeah! And then once you say hell yeah, when you read a card, you're like, that's what I should pick.
Yeah. So Tome Blast deals. It's 1 and a red for a sorcery, and it deals 2 damage to any target. Very important because the other 2 only deal damage to creatures. Though there's like an extra clause that on the big one you can deal 2 extra damage after you dealt 6 to their face. But the really obvious important part of Tome Blast is that it does have flashback for 4 and a red. 5 mana. Very important.
It's
5
like,
mana.
I love that. As soon as I read it, I was like, I get it, and I love what you did. This is like, it touches everything, you know?
It's great. So obviously it's cheap for any deck that wants to kill little things and do all the stuff that you need to do. The 2 decks that were playing it are Prismari and Lorehold, both of which want to stay alive and make sure that they can survive to the late game. Both of which care about a 5 mana spell being cast from their graveyard. Lorehold cares about cards leaving your graveyard, and obviously Prismari cares about casting spells that cost 5. Or spending 5 mana on a spell. Sorry. But this just does
happen again.
It just does. Yeah, I know. It does double duty. Yes, you will fall into situations where you won't be able to kill some big things, and that will be kind of brutal. But the fact that
just 4 of them in the face, you know.
Yeah. Plus trigger all your stuff, which I think is going to be important in the set.
Sure.
I feel like you're new to trigger things. The other one that you could possibly pick is the Unsubtle Mockery, which is the 3 mana deal 4 surveil one at instant speed, but it only hits creatures. Definitely a card I would put in my deck, but I think that I'd rather start with a Tome Blast. It just always feels good.
Yeah. I read Tome Blast. I was like, I think that's what we're going to pick. So, like I said, a quick scan of a lot of the comments, it shows that the power and toughnesses aren't that high in general, just from just kind of breezing on through. And so I think Tome Blast is good, but I think you'll often just 2 them in the face to trigger all your stuff and get in some damage, and then you have that flashback waiting in the graveyard, Oh, I know it looks expensive as heck because it's 2 for a shock at sorcery speed and then 5 for a flashback. But you brought up everything you said about it. The 5 is actually important. I was like, I'm glad this costs 5, not 4.
Because if it cost, and that was one of the things with some of the blue spells that I was looking at, where it's like, man, I think there's a card that bounces their creature and puts it on the top or bottom. Or they get to choose or whatever, the normal thing that we're used to seeing. That costs 4 or costs 3. But it's
4 is the most awkward because
it's the worst.
It's too expensive to be spell slinging, but it's not expensive enough to trigger your super prowess.
So it's kind of this awkward position. So Tome Blast just I just love it. Also, the added text is you have a Tome Tome Blast in your graveyard. Your opponent has a 5/5, and you have a couple 3-powered creatures. You get to attack and see if whether they want to trade their... Like, it's like, I already used Tome Blast once. It feels like it's extra. Like,
Yeah. I'm
killing
already
your
on
thing.
the gravy train for Tome Blast.
And
I'm
it's
considering this a
fake.
1-for-1 trade.
Exactly. And it's just like, this is face up. What do you want to do? And they're like, I guess I'll trade. I don't really want to do that.
That's exactly the attack that, like, whenever I'm playing against my opponent, I'm always like, they won't make that attack. And then they do, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, you're like, I hate this
Didn't do
attack.
that.
Yeah, it's like, now I have to trade my creature with your stupid thing, and you
Just
still have
take
all those
6.
cards
I
in
don't
your
want to
hand.
take 6 when you can deal 2 to me in the face. Like,
Yeah. Because, yeah, that's true. Then they can just kill you, like, hit you for 8 in the turn if they want.
what am I doing next turn? Like, I don't have a plan to do anything differently. You know?
Yeah, so I kind of have to do that now. And then it's like they still have all the cards in their hand, and I don't know what those ones are anymore. So, yeah, I like that extra little bit of text. Seems pretty neat. But, Jeff, let's move on to green and finally talk about these green cards you've wanted to talk about this whole episode, it seems like.
Sure. I I had a little Freudian slip there. You have to choose all green cards, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I just chose the card that, I don't know. It feels like we're getting a new version of the best green common that's just appearing over and over again. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll pick it again. I chose Noxious Newt, which is 1 and a green for a 1/2 with Death Touch, and you could tap it to add a green.
Yes. Yeah, I also picked Noxious Newt. How can you not, with that little face? He's so cute.
Yeah, I just want to pet him.
Yeah, don't do that. Obviously goes really well with the like fight spell and the format and all that type of stuff. Tapping for only green is the just the tiniest little thing that I was worried about, because I'm assuming that green decks probably want to play Teamer, but that's my preconceived notions. I don't know if actually, like, you just want to be playing Quandrix and you just want to ramp as much as possible. And the one thing about Noxious Newt, if you're playing it, it still taps for mana when your opponent Armageddons. So,
Did you mean Teamer or Sultai?
I meant Teamer.
Okay, so you're thinking like Prismari connects with Quandrix.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, just the green is the base of like Sultai in a way, but so this can't be the base in that deck.
It's less good as the base in the Teamer deck, as opposed to something that would fix your colors. The reason I'm talking about Teamer is because I'm bringing up last time we went to Strixhaven, Teamer was like where you wanted to be. You wanted to play Quandrix and Prismari together and ramp into big stuff, and then play giant spells and win the game going over the top.
Gotcha.
As opposed to trying to sticking to, like, it always felt like if you're Prismari, you could, bleed into Teamer, or if you're in Quandrix, you could bleed into Teamer. But all the other ones were like, play Lorehold, play Silverquill, play Witherbloom.
Yeah, I was wondering if that downside on the Newt wasn't as bad because, like, maybe you're just supposed to play Quandrix or,
Prismari.
No.
Sorry, Witherbloom.
Witherbloom, thank you. I was like,
Gotcha.
Gloomhaven? That's
That's Gloomhaven.
different game, totally different.
Yeah, so that is definitely like the do you want to just play Quandrix and like ramp, and that's all you're doing, which I think might be the case, because like we've said in the past, the last time that we were at in a plane, they tend to like to change things up a bit. So they knew that the best deck was like this kind of soupy Teamer deck that was doing a bunch of stuff. One thing I wanted to bring up, sorry, I know we're in the middle of Pack 0, Pick 1, but where the heck are all the Learn cards? We haven't talked about this yet. There's like, we didn't get any. It's just not a thing.
Yeah.
There's just all these lessons, nothing to learn. I guess they thought that mechanic might have been bad, but
They must have, right?
I mean, like, it was a little clunky with the whole, like, it takes up a bunch of spots in your sideboard, and also if you don't have cards that have lesson in lesson in your sideboard, you can like loot, but nobody remembered that was something you could do.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
it was
that
like
was
a
so
hidden
weird.
text.
I
Anyway,
even forgot until you just said that was an option.
because I always forgot when I was playing
Yeah.
that was something I could do. I was like, oh, I guess
Yeah.
I'll just go get this stupid card.
Yeah, true. No learning
thought
was
that-
done at this university.
That's crazy. I definitely thought that this set was going to be like, this has all the learn cards and all the lessons were from Avatar and they bleed together in that way. But no.
It seemed
then they-
perfect for it, and then I guess
Seemed
they must
cool.
have tried it, or that was the idea, and then it just
And then they're just like, you know what? This isn't that fun.
yeah.
And then, because I guess in the limited format, it's like, well, there's a bunch of cards that have learn on it and
True,
all they do
yeah.
is loot.
Yeah.
But you get to loot. It just teaches you that you loot with that spell because, anyway. Want to
But
quickly
there
say
are
that-
lessons in the set. So
There are. Anyway, I also picked Noxious Newt. It's so hard not to. Kind of a bummer. I feel like our Jund picks tend to be very similar, and so whenever
I know,
whenever
but a lot of the time, at least one of us picked the other removal spell or whatever. But
not this time around, we're so in sync. However, my miscellaneous cards, I got a couple. Actually, okay, this first one's not so random, so not that exciting. I did end up. I took the white removal spell, Ajani's Resolve
I could get behind
response,
that.
just because it's the only white removal spell. It's like if
Yeah.
you're playing white, I could see it being important, and it does just say kill everything. So for 2 mana, if they're attacking tapped, which Lorehold will care about.
Yeah, I
Silver
think
Quill not as much, but
The interesting thing about a Johnny's response is that Lorehold is interested in it to like stay alive, right? Somebody attacks, you kill it, whatever. Silver Quill is interested in it because aggro decks want big removal to get the big blockers out of the way. And so it's kind of a... I don't think either deck is psyched. It's like both decks have access to better removal. But both decks definitely want it. So in that respect, it ends up being a card that's like always at least pretty good in all the white decks, you know?
and in a funny way, it does work better in Lorehold as well because it could be cast for 5 mana.
Sure, yeah.
And so that you get to do the Opus thing. So there's that possibility.
Yeah.
But I do think it's just going to be up there in white commons just because it's the only removal spell. Like, I don't know if it's going to be the best. It's not that exciting to talk about, but I do think it'll be top 3 probably.
There's enough going on. It's just a little clunky, right? And
It's
we've
a
played
little
with these
clunky.
type of cards and we're used to them being clunky. But yeah, maybe here the clunkiness is almost an asset because it's the opus.
Yeah, the Opus. What's your miscellaneous? What do you got up your sleeve?
Yeah, I picked a boring one. I picked Unsettled Mockery. So this is 2 and a red for an instant. Deals 4 damage to target creature. Surveil 1. I don't know. It's kind of a lot of... That's a nice removal spell. So
It is.
I was hell yeahing the Tome Blast, but then I read this one immediately after. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty good too, though.
I was like, I gotta take them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. But
Yeah.
you know, I like it when we take shots, but it's hard because I also want to beat you.
Yeah.
So I do have to still win. Jeff, what's your other miscellaneous pick?
Okay, this one's I think more interesting. So whether it's the correct pick or not, I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna go for it. I think blue was the most interesting set to me, where like there was a solid like 5 cards or 6 cards where I was like, okay, I dig that. Like I don't hate that. And so I knew that I wanted to pick a second blue card, and I thought about Deluge Virtuoso, but then I scared myself with my Frost Links, my love of Frost Links. So maybe I like overthought it. But one thing we've seen be good in the past this type of card. And so I'm going to see if it's good again. I landed on Hydro Channeler as my other pick. So Hydro Channeler is 1 and a blue for a Merfolk Wizard 1/3. You can tap to add blue, which you can spend only to cast an instant sorcery spell, and then 1 and tap and add 1 mana of any color, spend it to cast an instant or sorcery spell. So this card, I think we had almost exactly this card in one format, and it was like very good.
I don't remember that.
This was a long time ago. It didn't have the second ability, I don't think, but it was just like a 1/3 that tapped for instant sorceries, and it ended up being really good in that format. And so this kind of just, I was like, you know what? This could be really good in your like Opus-y, Prismari kind of decks, where you just get something down on the battlefield, and then you start to ramp for your like spells so that you can cast a bunch of them, or that you could trigger your Opus a turn earlier, or whatever it might be.
Or even Quandrix, because you want to play a bunch of X spells, so getting
the
more...
X spells in Quandrix, exactly. And it lets you do the like teamery thing. Like you can splash those spells.
That's true. You this card will help you be base Prismari splash green for some of the X spells. Okay, I see it. All right, I was not really on board until we started talking about it, because this was a card I immediately was like, I wrote off and was like, no, I'm definitely not picking that one.
I kind of like it.
I see more of it now. I see it. So I apologize for former Zach, his rudeness.
I had another card that I was psyched about. Wait, you tell me your last common pick, and then I'll tell you another card that I like. I went through the opposite of you. I started high, and then as more I thought about it, it went lower.
Is the card that you're going to talk about blue? Mm-hmm. Okay, so go ahead. You can talk about it, because my card's not blue.
The other card that I was excited about, and then I just like lost excitement so quickly on, was Landscape Painter. Mm-hmm. So Landscape Painter is 1 and a blue for a 2/1 that enters prepared. And it has Vibrant Idea, which is 4 and a blue for a sorcery, draw 2 cards. And the part of me that's like, oh man, these like 2-drops that are good into the late game, was pumped about that. I was like, man, get a free spell later that triggers Opus, that's a draw 2 to refuel, that's like on my 2/1 for 2. I love it. The problem is exactly what I was saying before. I don't want to get my 2/1 into combat now, because I don't get any of that value. If I do. And then what's the point of the 2/1? And it's just 2/1 for 2 sucks. So it's sort of like, the body's just a little too bad, I think. But I love the spirit that this card is all about. But like the 2/1 is just a little too hard. And there are ways to pick off 1 toughness creatures in the set.
Yes.
So it's like, just like they would just kind of pick this up for free, or a pest token like stops it in its tracks, and then at least I get the spell later, but I just never want to engage in any sort of combat with this. So isn't this in some sense just like a 7-mana divination, because I'm just never using that body?
It's true. What would you feel like if you are the Landscape Painter, your opponent plays Noxious Newt, and would you want to attack into that? Does that seem like a good trade?
I'm attacking into that, yeah.
Would you be happy if they traded their Noxious Newt for this?
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing about that is like that probably signals that they don't have a way to use that ramp mana that they had. So it's like, it's one of those attacks where it's like, my opponent has better information about whether that's a good trade or not.
Yeah, that's true.
But like on the balance, I think Noxious Newt is so much better than this piece of crap that like, I'd be happy with it.
Yeah. So, I think that's really...
Especially if I'm in Quandrix and I have my X tokens, like I don't want the Newt to...
Oh, of course.
Like the Newt's going to ramp early and then trade with an X token. That's why it's so good.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed to this stupid thing. So then in that situation, you almost like the Landscape Painter, because you're like, they're never going to block with their Newt because it's too powerful. And then you get in... Imagine you get in like 4 damage with this, and then you draw 2 cards. Like, that seems pretty nice. I'm not saying that this card is good. I'm just saying in that specific scenario.
Yeah.
Of course, if you play this card in your deck, they're going to play the Hydro Channeler, and you can't attack, and then you just sit there.
Yeah, Pest token immediately, like Hydro Channeler. Whatever just like makes this do nothing, coming down right away.
that will be what happens. Another card that you could play against that, and my next miscellaneous card is a red card. I didn't go with Unsubtle Mockery because I thought it was a little on the nose. I wanted to stretch my arms a little bit. So I ended up picking Goblin Glassrite.
Love the Glassrite. When that was one of the earlier cards because it starts with G. And I read it. I was like, ooh, we got a contender because I just like that card.
It's so good. So it's 1 and a red for a 2/2. Goblin Sorcerer. It enters prepared. And it has the ability, or the spell it can cast is Craft with Pride, which is a single red for a sorcery. Create a treasure token. This is the card where you're like, turn 2, play Goblin Glassrite. Turn 3, make the treasure token. Attack. I don't care. Trade it off with whatever. Doesn't matter to me. I already got to use my spell. Over and done with. And it helps you splash in Prismari into the green cards that you want that are big. Or maybe some scary white cards that nobody's ready for. You know, something cool like that. I love the treasure fixing is so nice and so cheap. I think this is a card that you'll be looking for in a bunch of your decks, as opposed to some of these other 2-drops in red that, or I guess there's only one other one, but it doesn't seem nearly as good as this one. Just has so much good value and works towards the Prismari plan. I guess Lore Hold as well. It does let you cast some of your flashback cards faster. So it feels like a player, and it's cheap enough to want to have a bunch in your deck.
Yeah, I like this card too. I think everything you said I agree with. I think the only thing I'd add to it is that on your Opus turns, this is a free spell. So it just replaces the mana you spent on it, so you get a free Opus trigger, essentially.
That's so true.
On any turn that you want to just like pump something up 3 times or whatever.
You're just like, all right, Craft with Pride, make a treasure token, cast something else, do a thing.
Yeah.
And if you have a bunch of these out and they're all waiting, I mean, like, you probably weren't attacking with them because you definitely want to cast the Craft with Pride. But you also get the situation where it's like, if it's you play this on turn 2, turn 3, you don't cast Craft with Pride, you attack your opponent for a trade. And your opponent's like, oh, they didn't do the thing. Do I trade? Or does this mean they have a 3-drop that they want to play? And so now I'm like, ooh, do I make this trade and they play a 3-drop that's better? Or like, it opens up doors.
The mind game. Like, no, I'd just be like, what a noob. Block. Didn't get his Craft with Pride first.
Yeah, what an idiot. Anyway, so I think that card's going to be pretty good. And I am looking at, I know I picked a white card as well as miscellaneous, but you kind of have to spread out your stuff.
Yeah.
But I will say that for my gold signpost, there were too many cards to look at. It was crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different stuff, and you have to kind of decide what you want. Now, normally we have about 20 cards to look at because there's 10 archetypes, 2 for each archetype. There's 7 in each, times 5. Yeah. So many cards.
Almost twice as many.
So many cards. So this card that I picked, I kind of just went with it. I think it's a perfect bread and butter card for an archetype. I think it's going to be strong, and you're going to want to have it. After playing the set yesterday, if I could go back, I would change my pick.
Okay.
But I'm stuck with what I picked, which is still a good card. I don't think that this is bad. And it is in the color pair that I think is going to be good, and I've been talking about it. Prismari Charm, blue, red, instant, choose one, surveil 2, draw a card, or it deals 1 damage to each of up to 1 or 2 targets, or return target non-land permanent to its own hand.
I also picked Prismari Charm.
You gotta be fucking kidding me, buddy.
Because I was just like, I know charms are good. I already know what they all do because we read them last time, and I don't have to read 35 cards. And this one was the best one. Yeah.
All right. I had looked at other things. There's other Prismari cards that are good, but it just felt like
if you could go back, what would you choose? Now that I haven't officially selected Prismari Charm.
Oh wait, no, you can't just take what I was going to say. I think that we both wow, Jeff, this has
This
been
is too many similar cards. This
too
time.
too many similar cards.
Oh man, and you have the goblin on your side. I don't like it.
Well, you have
Like
Unsubtle
it.
Mockery. This doesn't look great. What a bummer. All right, I will say that if I could go back after playing with the set, I think that I think I would pick a Quandrix card, and I feel like Tam, Observant Sequencer, is so annoying and probably the card I would have picked. So Tam, Observant Sequencer, is 2 green-blue for a 4/3 legendary creature Gorgon Wizard. It has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, it becomes prepared, and its spell that it casts is Deep Sight, which is green and blue for a sorcery. You draw a card, and you gain a life.
Right.
And
So this is what's that?
Tatiova.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's basically a 4-mana Tatiova, but you have to pay to cast the spell, but it obviously triggers all your stuff when you do that. And it fuels your entire deck. And every time this card came down when I was playing against it, I was like, holy crap, that's so annoying.
But dies to last gasp.
It does die to last gasp. You're very right. So that is the one good thing about it. The problem with Prismari is that it does feel like sometimes this is the least of your worries because there's giant things later. So I guess this is the only thing that last gasp will kill on their board.
This feels like a must kill. Like, this is about as good as you're going to get out of last gasp. Come on.
Yeah, it's true. But it feels like it just keeps on going. And especially with Terramorphic Expanse in the set, if you can, like, Terramorphic as land for turn, cast Deep Sight, crack it, get a land, prepare it again, cast again if you want or whatever. Thank God it's only a sorcery speed spell, but I feel like Tam is going to be quite powerful, and I think like Quandrix is going to be good. I thought, like, coming into this whole thing, as always, just like the last set, I wanted White-Black to be the best deck, but I fear that it's going to be the big decks. I think it's going to be Blue-Red or Teamer or something in there, leaving Lorehold and Witherbloom in the dust. And I think that's true, or a 5-color deck. But that's also just because I was playing against streamers and everybody wanted to play 5-color stuff. So that was
it's a little more of a dirtly sort of event than
the aggressive-y things. But
yeah.
I don't know. I respect Quandrix. I thought the X-Spell thing was kind of silly, but it can be scary. So yeah.
When you were doing the build-up, I was like, okay, so you obviously chose a Prismari card. 1 in 7 chance we chose the same thing.
Yeah.
That sort of became clear that we had chosen the same thing. There's just, for me it was mostly like charms are good. Like, there's only so bad charms can be in Limited, right? And this is the best charm. In what seems like a solid color pair. Felt like it's a reasonable pick. As good a pick as any, like there's 35 cards here.
Yeah.
Looking back, I do see, scanning now, I see some cool ones, like kind of dig into Essence Knit Scholar, but I do have a bias towards stuff like that. So
that card is very good. I was playing a game. It was off stream last night, but Essence it was a Witherbloom mirror in sealed. Essence Knit Scholar was on both sides of the battlefield.
Oh yeah, this is the type of game I love. I could navigate that game.
And every turn it was like, attack with my pest token, no blocks. They gain a life, I lose a life. I attack with my pest token, no blocks. I gain a life, they lose a life.
I'm not giving you the card. Are you fucking kidding me?
And it kept being that thing. And that game was so wild. It came down to I was able to finally deal the last points of damage where I had 3 cards left in my library. I think they had maybe 6, but they had the black paradigm card that was played. And so the black one is 5 mana, so 3 black for sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life, and it has paradigm, which means that you cast it on your first main phase every single turn. So they were like targeting themselves early, but then once they started to realize that I was going to outgrind them, they started targeting me. And the reason that I was outgrinding them is because I had a really sweet rare that I didn't talk about today, but I had Grave Researcher. So Grave Researcher is a black rare. It's 2 and a black for a 3/3 creature troll warlock. And it says at the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. Then if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, this creature becomes prepared. And the prepared spell it casts is Reanimate. So for a single black at sorcery speed, you can put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to that card's mana value. And in my sealed pool, I had 2 of these. So I was able to have Grave Researcher surveil stuff every turn if I wanted. And I could return 2 things every turn. And because I had a bunch of... There's like this little frog-looking thing that every time you play a creature, you gain a life. So every time I'd reanimate something, I would gain 3 life. And so then I could keep fueling my reanimates every single turn. And the way I dealt the last points of damage was that there's like this vampire that's it has flying and it's a 3/3, but when it enters it drains for 2. So I killed that and then reanimated their own vampire back to my side.
Dirty.
It was crazy. It was the most insane game ever. It was so wild, and I was like, why is this the game? I'm not recording, and it's not
right?
on stream.
Yeah, off stream, of course that would happen.
Yeah, it's like, late at night.
On stream, you just get like dunked on by Quandrix over and over
just
again.
freaking wrecked by like everything. And then I'm off stream. I have like the sickest pool ever, and it's just a blast. So that was a frustrating, but also a lot of fun, and one of the best games I've played of Magic in a very long time. I made
into Grave Researcher.
So many mistakes. It's a really cool card.
I really like the flavor of it, right? Like,
because if you like reanimate too much of your own stuff, it won't work anymore. Which I did realize. So then you're making attacks because you're like, I need these creatures to die or I don't get to reanimate next turn. And I have to reanimate to gain life so that I can keep living in this game. Anyway, super cool card. It is not the card I picked for Tiebreaker Rare. But I guess we should probably finish up the Pack Pick ones before this episode's over. So my Tiebreaker Rare was... also a card I picked before everything. I don't know if I'd have a different choice now. I probably would.
With the tiebreaker rares,
It's so hard. It doesn't really matter. But I pick Jadzi, Steward of Fate. It's 2 and a blue for a 2/4 legendary creature, human wizard. When it enters prepared, and when it enters, you also get to draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. And then it has Oracle's Gift, which is XX blue for a sorcery. Create X, 0/0 green and blue fractal creature tokens. Then put X +1/+1 counters on each fractal you control. Has Quandrix vibes to it, but I like the idea of like a 3 mana 2/4 that blocks really well, doesn't die to last gasp, and tries to find you either more lands that you need to cast your spells or more heat. Early, and then it just sits on the battlefield, blocks, and kind of does nothing until you get to slam this giant spell later in the game, where you'd spend like 5 mana to get 2 2/2s, or 7 mana to get 3 3/3s, or 9 mana to get 4 4/4s, plus putting counters on all your other fractals if you have them. Seems like, if I'm picking that Prismari is going to be really good, or these like teamer decks are going to be good, I think this card would be a great include, and you'd be super happy to have it. If those decks are not good, maybe it's good still because it can block the Silver Quill stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I could get behind that. The card I picked honestly, like, these don't matter. Although,
I don't.
with so many ties, so many of the same card choice.
We're actually closer to needing these tiebreakers than ever.
Yeah. Well, we picked all the same commons and uncommons. So I guess it's all down to the tiebreaker rare. No, I mostly picked this because I think it's good, but I mostly just wanted to talk about it because I like it. I picked Fastland's Scavenger. This is one green for a 4/4 with Death Touch that enters prepared, and then it has Bind to Life, 4 and a green. Instant. Mill 7 cards and put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. This just feels pretty pushed, man. Like, I'm into this card in Constructed, just like generic mid-range. This is my kind of, like, hell yeah creature. I'm just like, there's a lot going on for 3 fucking mana here.
So much.
The Death Touch, I used to be a bit of a criticizer, you'll say. Critic? Of Death Touch on large bodies. But it was annoying enough with Sheoldred that I think I'm just like, you know what, maybe it's obviously not as... You don't get as much juice out of it, because it's going to win most combats anyways. But it does still matter. I think I used to just be very dismissive, and like, the Death Touch might as well not be there on a 4/5. And then it happened enough times with Sheoldred where I'm like, it's so annoying to like triple block this fucking thing.
And
that,
still
like, there's
lose
no
all your
way to
creatures
do
no
it
matter what.
profitably. Like, yeah.
You have to block with
That's-
5 creatures before
Yeah,
you keep one.
Exactly. And so, like, I appreciate the Death Touch. I think, most keywords are still better on big bodies, like, rather
Trample.
than most other things.
Whatever.
But Death Touch is still an addition to a 4/4 for 3, by the way. With the, this, like, grindy late game thing.
Sweet spell. That costs
It
5.
is an instant. Come on. When I heard it was an instant, I was like, I gotta read that again. Like, shit, I just assumed that was a sorcery. No, this is like Sultai grindy mid-range nonsense, and I love every part of this card.
If any ambush exists in the world, this is the most exciting one. Where it's like, neither of us know what's coming out of here.
Right.
Maybe I'll get.
Because I was like, well, they know this is there, and I'm like, but they don't know what I'm gonna hit, and neither do I.
Yeah, exactly. So what a blast! I'm so glad I picked Jodsy because Vastland's Scavenger was my second choice.
Really? Oh my god, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, I had this on my short list because I wanted to pick a creature that had that had prepared, and after the Emeritus cycle is all mythic, so you can't pick those. And I was so close to picking this card. So that would have been so stupid if it was.
I would have just been like, I'm just gonna pick a different card and like pretend that's what I.
Let's just record the podcast again.
Yeah, we'll start over.
Let's just start over.
Pick 2. I wanted to put this on my no pass list. It barely didn't make it, but I just
it barely didn't make it.
Because it's a bear. I don't know if I said that. It's a bear druid. For this,
yeah, it's 2 bears in a trench coat. That's why it's a 4/4.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is on my no pass list. I kind of just want to like jam this card, but then I was kind of thinking like I would just take this card in limited. So
no, this card is sick as hell.
Yeah,
you don't have to. What a sweet thing. I think the set looks pretty awesome overall, and I'm excited to play.
When I was reading like the cards in this set, I remember thinking, this set looks way cooler than the first time we came to Strixhaven.
Yes, because I actually know what the cards do.
Yeah, from like just a Magic perspective, not necessarily like a lore, whatever. If you loved the original Strixhaven, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But just from like, there are cooler Magic cards this time around,
I think the split cards being not being double-sided is huge for me. I'm so
they're
over
really
double-sided
interesting.
cards.
I think prepared is a really, really interesting mechanic.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I like it a lot, and it plays really well too. Because when you're on Arena, it's just like a spell, as if it was in your graveyard. It just kind of floats there. So
Sure.
as opposed to clicking the creature and activating it, which took me a little bit of time to feel comfortable with. But no, the set looks just awesome, and I'm looking forward to drafting more of it when it releases officially, as well as pre-release this weekend. All right, Jeff, are you ready for last call? What are you pouring, another beer?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
There's
well,
a
I still
reason,
got.
but we'll get there.
Okay. Well, anyway, in last call, we always like to talk about the beer that we are rating this evening. Today, we have 2 beers to rate. As always, we rate all of our beers on a scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. However, this has nothing to do with what tier you are in currently, because everyone's in different tiers at different times. So don't feel bad when we say that bronze beers, they're trash, they're horrible. You spit them on the ground, you pour them out, they're gross. I hate them.
Silver beers are boring or bad.
Gold beers are fine, but you wouldn't really drink them again.
Platinum, super solid. You would totally drink it again.
Diamond beers are exceptional. You like these a lot. You show them off to your friends.
And mythic beers, these are the best of the best. These are... I got something. These are the TAM, Observant Sequencers of the beer world.
Wow, you're putting way too much pressure on me. I thought for sure you were going to say Armageddon.
Oh, that would have been a good one. I forgot we talked about Armageddon.
Anyway, Jeff, let's talk about let's talk about him in order. How about that?
Okay.
So I'm not going to flip this around because I will pour out the contents or
Yes,
the little residuals out. But let's talk about Yo-Yo first. This passion fruit smoothie sour, passion fruit and mango, marshmallow vanilla. Mm-hmm. It's so funny that you're saying that it looks like orange juice and it tastes like orange juice and it is basically orange juice and there's no orange juice in it. Because I was definitely thinking, oh, oranges, but the mango in it or something. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if it's the mango passion fruit
it's definitely the
combo.
mango.
Like mango for sure is what makes it so orange for sure.
And so thick.
Yeah.
It's a thick beer.
And maybe it's just like whenever I drink stuff like that, it's always been orange juice. So it's my brain
Like Orange
tricks
Julius,
me,
yeah.
Yeah. Tricks me into being like, that's orange juice, dummy.
I love this beer. I thought this was great. Like, yes, it's not beer in the conventional sense. Yes, I would not give this to someone who wasn't expecting it to be beer. But as a gateway beer for all of our little 19-year-olds out there and the Zacks of the world, this is what you need to be drinking. This is great. And for a while, this was the lifeblood of micro or craft breweries. Because you needed to get more people interested in drinking beer, and you just couldn't bridge the gap for a long time. It was difficult, and so beers like this helped them get in the door to then try some of the pilsners and the IPAs and all this different stuff, all the stouts of the world. But
It's hard for me to imagine as a pilsner as being like so hard to.
I think it's well, I guess my beer journey was I didn't really like beer flavored beer originally. And so it took me a while to get to there. So a pilsner tasted so beery that it's like I needed to try a bunch of different things. And going through sours and stouts helped me get to the place where I could appreciate the beers that tasted like beer.
I don't think anyone likes beer flavored beer at first, but the point is that like bullying and peer pressure in high school beats that out of you.
I know, but those don't exist anymore, right? It's all
True,
cyberbullying for different things.
Yeah.
But like
They don't make fun of you for that now. They're much more subtle and like hurtful.
Of course, and like cunning.
Yeah.
High school students are very silver quill these days.
Yeah.
But the younger generation is not drinking as much alcohol in general. And so this is like the vape of beers. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like we got to get you in the door somehow, and it's going to be Fruit Loop flavored tobacco. You know what I mean?
Quick thing too, though, like we went out recently for this is a tangent. We went out recently for a work thing. It's actually why I couldn't play in the draft.
Sure.
but we had an intern there. So I guess he's still in undergraduate, maybe 20-ish, around that age.
Oh, wow.
But he was saying, like, his friends in high school, they went to parks and, like, drank beer and stuff. And that's what everyone did. And so it might just be like a Gen Z thing of non-drinkers.
We're like growing out of it, like that.
Yeah, now it's cool
of
again.
Non-drinkers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, wow, it's weird to be back in the cool zone,
right? I was like, I did that too. I'm cool. But yeah, I hated this beer. I didn't like it at all.
You drank the whole thing. I watched you.
I did. It was a struggle though.
Okay, Jeff, let me paint you a picture.
Paint it.
You're home from work. You got to throw something together for dinner. But you might have a little bit of extra time and some eggs and bacon lying around with some pancake mix in the back of the cabinet. You decide to have breakfast for dinner, and you need a beer that will pair with breakfast for dinner. How can you tell me it's not this one right
I'm
here?
not choosing this.
It is a juice. It fits perfectly with breakfast.
I am not that into juice. I should sort of leave that comment to float right there. Juice is okay. I never want this much juice. This is so much juice.
But I needed more. I need a bigger glass of juice.
You know, like something you'll see later. You give juice to kids. You don't give them the raw stuff. You got to water that shit down. And like that's what I should be doing for myself. Because when I drink what I would give to my son, I'm like, oh yeah, this I hate this less. It's just too much sugar, man. And this tastes like juice. It just does.
It is. It's masquerading as beer.
Yeah,
It's got a.
it's just this is not a beer. It's a juice, and it's not a juice that I loved the flavor of. It was even like thick for juice. I felt like this was.
Oh, but I love thick juice. I love
man, no.
like a really pulpy orange juice that you kind of like have to chew. Is like that's.
I do
that
like the
means it's
pulp,
good.
but this didn't really have pulp. It was just like viscous.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me.
I want to go back.
I took
and try
one sip and was like, I was at a crossroads of like, do I just go pour this out right now, or do I try to drink the rest of it? And then you were like, "Well, we're done this one." I was like, "Oh crap!" No to yo-yo is what I say.
Wow.
And you know what? You know what? I know I drank the whole thing, but it was none of it was enjoyable. I'm going to give it bronze. For me, this one's bronze.
Get out of town. You finished it. I watched you.
I'm never drinking it again.
You didn't pour it on the ground. You didn't pee on it. It doesn't count.
You don't know that I didn't pee on it.
That's true. You did run away for a little bit. I liked this a lot. This was great. I'm going to give this diamond because
that might be the biggest
it's
delta
huge.
of our careers.
I think it really is. Because as far as...
I mean, it's almost the maximum possible difference.
I wasn't going to call this mythic, but maybe as far as smoothie sours go, which is not a real
Was it even
flavor,
sour?
really.
Did you get a lot of sour?
Yes, because if this tasted like... If I was drinking this as a glass of orange juice, I would have been like, okay, this has been out for a little bit because it's bubbly.
Yeah, it tasted like
kinda
funky
sour.
orange juice, I guess.
Yeah. Which I guess technically it is. Now, to be fair, the marshmallow and vanilla were totally hidden.
Yeah.
But whether they added to the viscousness of it, I don't know. It is wild, but it is a classic.
I
Zach
honestly
brought
think
this
if
beer.
somebody poured this into like my Orange Julius cup, I wouldn't have thought twice about that.
That would be if I could go to the mall and get this in an Orange Julius cup that size and walk around.
Oh,
Are you kidding? That'd be
no,
amazing.
you can't possibly drink that much of this.
Of course you can. This would be give me 2, give me 3.
This is like my wife makes fun of me because when we go to Dairy Queen, I don't understand how people eat the blizzards that they eat. I get a small, and I like put it in the freezer to save for later. I eat like half of that, and I put it in the freezer. And she thinks it's that crazy, but I think she's crazy because she could take down like the larger ones. In one
Yeah,
sitting.
maybe this is just. I mean, I know your wife's not American, but like the American in me is like you get the largest size, and
Well,
no
she's
matter
from Calgary,
how,
so
it's pretty close.
yeah, pretty much.
No matter how much your stomach hurts, you will finish that,
Oh,
and you
no.
will be upset about it. But next time, you're still going to get the big size and still hurt
You're gonna
your
go
stomach.
bigger next time.
Exactly.
Oh man,
Yeah.
those small blizzards, they're huge. That's a lot of ice cream.
Or what is it? Dairy treat. I don't know. If
Oh
it's
yeah, whatever
technically
they
ice
have to
cream.
call it. Yeah.
Yeah, for
We're not legally allowed to call this ice cream.
but delicious nonetheless. I do like Dairy Queen.
It is good. It's just like
Yeah.
it's very rich. It's a lot going on, you know. Because
Yeah.
I get the
Whenever-
one. I don't know if I said this. I get the one with the peanut butter in it, like the Reese's.
Okay. Well, that
Extra
also
rich.
it's very true. Yeah, yeah. I usually like to go and maybe not get the blizzards, but I like the cones where they have like the
Oh,
blobbies
sure. Yeah,
and the
yeah.
Jimmy Neutron swirl. That is nice, and it's like some weird super red cherry something that they.
Oh yeah,
they,
why is
like,
it so
dip in and
red?
stuff.
That always throws me off a little bit.
But I love it because it's like the color of Dairy Queen or something, and it's like they all kind of taste like waxy anyway. So you just like crack it. I don't know. You slurp it. I don't know. You know what? I need to go to Dairy Queen.
You're like,
I
I'm
haven't
gonna
been
hold
there in a
on. Let's cut the show. We gotta go to
Just
Dairy
real quick, I gotta go to Dairy Queen. By the way, unrelated, but this episode of the podcast has been sponsored by Dairy Queen.
Hey! You can get an Arena Regulars ice cream cake.
Yeah, you do have to ask them to write Arena Regulars on it for you, but they will do it.
They will definitely try.
Yeah. No, we don't have an affiliate link. Just please give your money to Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Jeff, let's talk about this daily commute, this stout.
Okay.
This was beer flavored. Wow.
I felt like this sucked less, but still kind of sucked. Doubt.
Wow, Jeff, really, really angry tonight. Who hurt you today?
Let me just say, I'm not excited about the other two Bandit beers I have in my fridge.
Okay, well, all right, we'll talk about that off air. All right, but
Oh, right. That's a little inside look.
yeah, but okay. I was the one.
No,
who got
that's
these-
totally. It's not show related. I just happen to
No,
have
no,
other
no. Yeah, yeah.
beers in my.
It's very obvious that Jeff would never have gotten me a smoothie sour. Like, obviously, I picked these.
I don't know. I thought it was okay. I definitely tasted the hazelnut. I don't really like hazelnut, and so here we are.
Jeff's like, both of these beers looked terrible, tasted terrible. I don't like them.
Gotta knock them out in one episode, right?
Yeah, I liked the daily commute a lot less. Because I
Yeah,
have
so
like
we both agree it, sucked.
okay. I don't think it sucked. I just don't think I need to get this one again.
I think this one I'm fine to leave it at gold.
Yeah, this feels gold to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I think for me it's kind of silver gold territory, but I don't think it's fair to put it in silver just because I don't like hazelnut. So let's just call it gold.
yeah, I agree. That
It
like
does
if
say
we had
hazelnut on it, like
a silver stout.
it's not
would
like they
be-
hid the hazelnut.
No.
They told you it
I-
was in there.
Yeah. It doesn't taste off,
No.
or like watery and bad or anything like that. Which tends to be silver, and the bronze tends to be like, I think there's something literally wrong with this. Like, I have to pour this out.
Yeah. This isn't beer.
Or Jeff just decides he doesn't like it enough to give it bronze.
I'm not sure there's not something wrong with mine. Because what you said you're tasting and what I'm tasting.
Jeff, you drank the whole thing. I
Can't
watched you.
imagine anyone liking it.
There's video footage that will be up forever of you drinking this beer and then telling me that you hated it.
I'm not even sure I did drink the whole thing. There might have been some kills in my cup that I've rinsed in the sink.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Check the tape. I might, maybe I'm wrong. We'll need a slow-mo. Zoom in.
Yeah. The editor's doing that right now.
Okay, he's working on it. Good.
Yeah. Anyway, let's close this out. Hopefully next time we visit the Bandit beers, we have a couple more in the fridge. They are Jeff likes them better because I'm probably gonna like them. The other ones are more.
These are more
up your
like
alley.
these styles are more up your alley. The other ones, well, okay. There's maybe a split on the other ones. But
I like all beer.
Too much
I don't know
away.
what you're talking about.
I like all beer as well. This simply is not a beer.
Yeah, it says sour right there.
Does it say beer?
Actually, maybe it doesn't even say beer on the can.
I don't think it doesn't because they know.
They can't legally. It is the dairy treat.
Exactly. It's the dairy treat Bandit brew. Like, we're not legally allowed to call this a beer.
Okay, all right. You got me there. That's fine. But delicious nonetheless. Anyway, let's go to closing time. As always, you can reach us at Arena Regulars. We're on Instagram and Blue Sky.
You may also find us on Arena itself under the username Arena Regulars Podcast.
If you want to talk to me personally, you can find me at @theregular_Zach. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, YouTube, different places at different times. But Jeff, where can they find you?
Best place is our Discord channel. Come join the fun. We talk about Standard. We talk about No, never mind. We talk about planar Standard. We talk about historic. We talk about Magic. We talk about beer. We talk about, honestly, whatever. Come share your dumb YouTube links with us. Come see our dumb YouTube links. It's honestly just a great time.
Yeah, we have a blast. It's great.
Link is in the show notes.
Yes, we have a link down there. Also, if you like the show, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify. Leave us a review there as well. Go to our YouTube channel, leave us a little comment so we can talk to you and say, hey, what's going on? What do you think about this beer? Is it a real beer or is it not a real beer? Let me know. This has been the Arena Regulars.
Reminding you that if your play group is anti-land destruction, you need a new play group.
Oh, that's a good one. Good night. All right, that's fine.